trade unions and NGOs, together with the support of male union officials, encountered to converse about the issue of maternity protection. Now, it's said that women in the informal sector who are off on maternity leave face difficulties in receiving their maternity state benefit. Well, here to talk to us further about these issues in our Cape Town studios is Sharon Daniels, and she's from the COSATU. She's the Provincial Chairperson there. Sharon, thank you for being our guest. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Leanne. Good morning.
Now, a representative from the Labour Research said women are being punished and discriminated for practicing their reproductive rights, more especially in the informal sector. Let's elaborate a little bit more on this.
I think, Leanne, the discussions that we had was with regard to women in the informal sector, that is, they are not getting the benefit when they stay at home, so they're disadvantaged. And the Basic Condition of Employment Act says that, you know, women have privileges, but if you look at it, there's no privileges because it says it's unpaid maternity protection that they have, and that is no protection at all.
Yeah.
We will find that women don't even have time to look after their children, and they would have to leave their children at home. Like just speaking to someone earlier on, that is in the informal sector said, you know, I'm having a baby, but there's no protection for me, and I will see to it I'm going to survive because I don't even get unemployment insurance fund. And surely, you know, government has to do something about these things, and it's time that we as women have to stand up together and talk to these issues, and also find the relevant platforms that we can talk about it.
Yeah. How do you educate these women about their labour rights, given the lack of support and information for women in the informal sector?
I think what the Labour Research Services, together with the Labour Rights for Women campaign, is trying to achieve is by bringing women together from all walks of life. Like we had our conference, and it was just a mini one, but it was very successful, you know, where we put a program together and women were talking about their issues, and women came up with their own solutions, and therefore, you know, this is what we've been saying. And given opportunities like this to be on national TV, to get it out there in the newspapers, and even in churches and in any organization in the community where women come together to discuss this. And I think that's the best platform, that we educate each other. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the beginning of bigger things, where we really talk to our issues as women and no longer remain silent on them.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the big things as well is the difficulty that women have in getting funds from that maternity state fund. What is the problem there? Many
times you'll find that women will go on maternity leave, and then there's a lack of the employer to actually, you know, put on the register that the person is no longer working in order for the person to gain that funds. And we've actually engaged the Department of Labour in our mini conference, and we said, what is it that you can do to make things better? And they've actually put out on the website where you can do it online, and encouraging employers to for employers to speed up the process. And if that is not the case, you know, they are too late to find their funds, they can actually make an application to the Commission. So really it is for us as women and worker activists to go out and speak to employers and ensure that the process is speeded up. We've had incidents where a woman just finished off work, she went to the Department of Labour, the next thing she saw that money was in a banking account. But many other women haven't had such successful stories. So, you know, we need to go on a collective bargaining level also to ensure that these issues are being discussed and that really it is speedily recovered.
Yeah. Here's an issue I think that we need to touch on as well. And amazingly, it really got our Twitter account a buzz yesterday. And that was this conversation about men feeling that 3 days paternity leave, and it's not necessarily even paternity leave here in South Africa, it's family responsibility leave that they have, is not enough. You've got a Cape Town father who's taking this further and wanting to increase it to 10 days at least in order to help that situation. And we're talking 10 days paid paternity leave. What's your view on this?
I think this was also another topic that came up because we had both men and women at this conference, and we actually see that even in the Basic Condition of Employment Act, it doesn't even talk about paternity benefits for men. And this was one of the issues that also came up. And we actually have made strive in that way. At Pick and Pay, for an example, you would have a collective bargaining agreement with COSATU where the father is allowed to be at home for 8 days and that is paid. And then also, if the father is working for the company, father and mother, they can actually share that responsibility. And we haven't had much success in getting those into the collective bargaining processes. And, you know, I agree that fathers should equally take responsibility for their kids and be there, because fathers want to be there with their kids and they are not afforded that opportunity. Yeah. So this is the thing that we're lobbying for, is that fathers must also be seen in there. And therefore, we've been saying in our statement that the Constitution says there's no discrimination, but in actual fact there is.
Yeah, all right. We've got to leave it there. I know that there's so much more to talk about, but Sharon Daniels, thank you very much for talking to us about the difficulties women go through in getting their maternity state benefits, and also about men and knowing your rights when it comes to having children.